attracted by the glittering aspect of Maya, that much we become affected by Maya. So, therefore, especially in education today, the more our children are taught to be attracted by materialistic misinformation, the more they get entrapped by Maya. What is materialistic disinformation? That is, everything started with a big bang, and there's no God behind the creation, and the goal of life is sense gratification. And the way you get more sense gratification, you make more money. And you spend your money uniquely for self-indulgence. This is the whole strategy of Maya. Maya, of course, is a devotee of Lord Krishna. Why is she doing this? To test to see if we are qualified to go back to Vaikuntha or Goloka Vrindavan. We have to pass a very hard test. It's like 100 times harder than the SAT test. Millions of times harder than a GMO test or whatever test it is to get into college. We're trying to get back to Vaikuntha, to the spiritual world. It's not going to be easy. We're going to be tested by Maya Devi. And Maya Devi, being a devotee of the Lord, she's extremely powerful. In fact, Krishna says, Daivihi esa gunamai, mama maya duratyaya, mam evaye prapadyante, mayam etam tarantite. He says, this material energy of mine, he describes it as gunamai, my energy, is impossible to overcome. But someone who surrenders unto me easily can overcome it. Something that's impossible becomes easy. But it requires recognizing who Krishna is and surrendering to him. And that's the whole subject of Bhagavad Gita. At first, Arjuna thinks Krishna is a family member. Then he understands, wait a minute, he's not a family member. He's the Supreme Personality Godhead. Param Brahma, Param Dhamma, Pavitram Paramam Bhavam, Purusham Sasvatam Divyam, Adi Devam Ajam Vibhu. He's Adi Deva Ajam Vibhu, the original God. No, he's never born. He's eternally existing. He's the Param Brahma, the Supreme Personality Godhead, Purushottama, the person who's completely above any hint of influence of Maya. He is Uttama, above all ignorance, above the modes of material nature. He's not an ordinary person. He's not just a family member, right? So once Arjuna realized that, then he says, Sisyastetam sadimam tvam prapanam. Now, Krishna, I'm confused. I don't know what I'm doing. I can't figure out what's right and wrong. But I'm going to surrender unto you. You become my guru, and you instruct me what is right and what is wrong. That is the quintessential decision we have to make in our life. But to the degree that we're attracted by Maya, just like little kids are attracted by cell phones. Later on, they get attracted to video games. Later on, they get attracted to Netflix. Later on, they get attracted to smoking marijuana. Later on, they get attracted to illicit activities. And they think, wait a minute, this is normal. Everybody else is doing it. Why shouldn't I do it? My parents are trying to hold me back artificially because of this archaic religion called Vedic Dharma. It's all archaic. It's old-fashioned. It's not modern. It's going to hold me back. I won't become a Microsoft employee or an Amazon employee if I take up this religion. So I should join the group of everybody else and take up this sinful activities. They're not sinful. They're only sinful because the Vedas say they're sinful. See? So this is what's happening. This is the result of modern education. So to the degree that a person is attracted to these things, attracted to rap music, attracted to hip-hop, attracted to all these modern things, digital technology and so forth, they get entrapped by Maya. This is what is happening in India today. It's happened here a long time ago, but now it's happened to India also. And it's destroying the Vedic Dharma in India. You know, the sons and daughters of Vaishnavas are no longer so interested in taking up Vaishnava life. dressing in dhoti and sari, covering their hair, women covering their hair. They're not interested in that. Or their strict following has become loose, and therefore people are getting degraded. They're smoking, they're drinking, they're watching Bollywood movies, and basically getting contaminated, even in the villages of India. Is this right, Prabhu? Right. Is it right in Bengal? Yeah. It's right in Tamil Nadu, it's right in Andhra, it's right in Kerala, it's right everywhere now. So here Prabhupada says, the diluting energy or material nature can act upon the living beings proportionately in terms of the living beings falling prey to the diluting attraction of Maya. Moths are captivated by the glaring brightness of light, and thus they become prey to the fire. Similarly, the diluting energy is always captivating the conditioned souls to become prey to the fire of delusion. And the Vedic scriptures warn the conditioned souls not to become prey to delusion, but to get rid of it. So here we see a beautiful metaphor. He says the fire of delusion. Now usually you don't consider a false idea in the mind as a fire, but actually it is, because it's burning up any attachment to Vedic Dharma, leaving it in ashes. So this fire of delusion, what is the fire of delusion? We come from monkeys. There was a big bang. The goal of life is to eat, sleep, drink, and be merry. And to do that, you need money. And you get the money hook or crook. Right? Hook or crook, doesn't matter. You just have to have the money. Just like Charvaka Muni, who was an atheist in ancient times, in Vedic times. He said, hook or crook, you must have ghee. At least he wasn't talking about money. He was talking about ghee. You must cook everything in ghee, then you'll be happy. Right? Nowadays, there's no more ghee. There's dalda, right? And the ghee is money. You see how, even in ancient times, the atheists at least had a little bit of good sense. They knew that if you cook food in ghee, you end up looking like a devata. The devatas only eat food cooked in ghee. They don't eat food cooked in dalda. But nowadays, they cook it in dalda, and their ghee is money. So you see how they're more degraded. At least in past time, the atheists were not as degraded as they are today, because they're really low class today. Okay, so it says, the deluding energy is always captivating the conditioned souls to become prey to the fire of delusion. And the Vedic scriptures warn the conditioned souls not to become prey, not to become a victim to delusion, but to get rid of it. So how do you become a victim of delusion? You accept false concepts to be true. Then those false concepts enter in the mind and reboot your mind to become deluded. Now, what does deluded mean? Let's understand that. First, you make a mistake. You think, oh, modern education is good. Then you accept false concepts. And you begin to believe things that were never true to be true. And then you act on that. That's called delusion. As soon as you act accepting a false concept to be true, and a false concept, it means something that was never true, you believed to be true. Such as, we come from monkeys. Such as, there was a big bang. Such as, the goal of life, such as, engaging in sense gratification is good. No sense gratification means you'll become a psychotic, psychologically sick. This is Freudian theory, that people get sick mentally because they don't have sense gratification. But as soon as you have sense gratification, then you become happy. So these are all false ideas purported by Darwin, Freud, Marx, etc. Stephen Hawkins, this one, that one. As soon as you act on those false concepts, you're in a deluded state. Everything you're doing is wrong, but you think it's right. That's called delusion. So the Vedic scriptures warn the conditioned souls not to become prey to delusion, but to get rid of it. The Vedas warn us to go not to the darkness of ignorance, but to the progressive path of life. Tamasima Jyotirgama. Come out of the darkness of ignorance, come to the light of transcendental knowledge. The Lord himself also warns that the deluding power of material energy is too powerful to overcome. That was the verse, 7th chapter, 14th verse, Daivihi Esam Gunamai. It's too powerful to overcome, but one who completely surrenders unto the Lord can easily do so. Mayam etam tarantite. Taranti means easily. See? One who surrenders to me, Krishna says, can easily overcome this deluding energy, this gunamayi. But to surrender unto the lotus feet of the Lord is not very easy. Why is it not easy? Because of false pride, ahankara. Such surrender is possible by persons of austerity, cleanliness, mercy, and truthfulness. Tapasya and socham and mercy, kripa or doya, and truthfulness, satya. These four principles of advanced civilization were remarkable features in the age of Satya Yuga. Now, Treta Yuga has gone by, Satya Yuga is over, Treta Yuga is over, Dwapara Yuga is over. Now we're in Kali Yuga, the age of hypocrisy and quarrel. People are cheating and they're arguing that they're not cheating. That's the symptom of this age. In that age, in Satya Yuga, every human being was practically a qualified brahmana of the highest order. And in the social orders of life, they were all paramahansas, or the topmost in the renounced order. In other words, paramahansa means paramahansa. Hansa means a swan, and parama means a supreme swan-like person. Why does it use the word swan? Because a swan can drink milk dissolved in water. That's a real accomplishment, to be able to drink the water, the milk dissolved in water. So the Paramahansas are people who can see Krishna in every situation. They're never tricked. So when Prahlad Maharaj saw Nrsingadev, although his father was frightened out of his wits and killed by Nrsingadev, Prahlad Maharaj wasn't afraid at all. Even Lakshmi Devi was afraid. She said, "My God, I've never seen anything like this." Brahma asked her, "Go and put a garland on him so he'll calm down. You're his wife." She said, No, I'm not going near him. I don't know who he is." She didn't recognize him. But Prahlad Maharaj, he said, "Oh, he's my Lord. I'm not afraid. I'll go and put a garland on him." And Nrsingadev was so pleased with Prahlad. He said, "Prahlad, you ask for any benediction and I'll give it to you." And Prahlad said, "Please don't tempt me like this, my Lord. I'm happy chanting Hare Krishna. I'm happy following your instructions. Don't tempt me like this. I'm not interested in anything material. But if you want to give me something, then you bring my dad back and you save him." And the Nrsingadev smiled. He said, "Prahlad, you don't know? Anyone who becomes my pure devotee, 21 generations are saved immediately in his family." So I was just talking to a man right now, right? He came here about 25 years ago. And he came to a program I had at the University Heights Community Center. 25 years ago, I used to lecture there every Wednesday or Thursday. And he took a picture. So he has a picture, right? You saw the picture. So he said, "I haven't been here," he said, 23 years. So he said, "I want to just see Prabhuji because he introduced me to Krishna consciousness." So I went to meet him. And I said, "How are you?" He said, "Oh, I'm okay." I said, "You came here on business?" He said, "Well, I came here tonight to see you and see, of course, Radha Nila Madhava. But, yeah, I have my own business now. I used to work for Infosys. Now I have my own business." So I said, "You came to get customers?" I said, "No." He said, "I came here tonight to see this temple." I said, "Oh, okay." And I said, "So is everything okay?" He said, "Yeah, everything's all right." I said, where's your bead bag? He said, oh, I didn't bring it with me. I said, that's like walking out of your house without your pants on. I said, how come you didn't bring it with you? He said, well, I took some of the beads you have there. I said, no, there must be a reason why you didn't bring it with you. Well, he said, yes, there is. I'm discouraged. Why? So I was praying to Krishna, and it didn't work out. I said, well, were you praying for material success? He said, no, nothing like that. I said, then it must be someone you love that was dying. He said, yes, how did you know? I said, well, those are two main reasons why people turn away from Krishna, but see, that's based on ignorance. So what do you mean, ignorance? I said, the person that you love that died, they didn't die, just their body died, they're still alive. But the question now is, how much do you love them? So what do you mean by that? I said, if you actually love them, then you would decide to become a pure devotee like Prahlad Maharaj. Because if you become a pure devotee in this lifetime, you'll save 21 generations of your family. So it depends. You have to decide how much you love them or not. If you don't really love them, then you'll get angry at Krishna. He didn't give me what I wanted. But he's not going to give you what you want. He's going to give you what you deserve in that case. But if you want to become Krishna conscious, then he'll give you what you want. Okay. But if you don't want to become Krishna conscious, say, give me what I want, Krishna. Then he'll give you what you deserve only from your previous karma. So unless you know this, then you're in ignorance. So you should make a decision tonight. Decide that you're going to become a pure devotee. You're never going to go anywhere without your beads, and you're always going to chant Hare Krishna and remember Krishna. So I gave him Science of Self-Realization and a picture of Radha Nila Madhava. I said, now you take this book and you learn what is real Krishna consciousness, and you take this picture and you always meditate on Radha and Krishna. He said, okay. You know. But see, this is the problem. You know, I want something, God didn't give it to me. Now I don't believe in God. This is nonsense. So that just means he didn't believe in God in the beginning. It's not that now he gave up believing in God. He didn't understand who God is and how things work. But Prahlad Maharaj is only 5 years old. He understands. Right? How did he understand? Because he had a guru, a bona fide guru, Narada Muni. And where did he learn from his guru? He was only 5 years old. He learned while he was in the womb of his mother. Prenatal consciousness. Today, people are completely in ignorance. Like, for example, not only abortion is legal in the United States, now the governor of New York State, Mr. whatever his name is, Como. What's his name? First name? No. Christie is New Jersey. And he's no longer governor of New Jersey. He got voted out. Prabhu, you have to know mundane knowledge also. You have to know both in order to not get things, confused. So Como pushed through the legislature of New York a new, let's call it, take on abortion. Now, in New York State, you can kill the baby when it's coming out of the womb. Yeah, it's legal. So, not to be undone, the governor of Virginia proposed a law in the Virginia legislature to be able to kill the baby after it comes out. And that law says that we will take care of the baby in the hospital and make it comfortable. And then the mother can decide whether she wants it or not after birth. And if she doesn't want it, we can kill it legally. This is unbelievable. It's actually unbelievable. Already killing the baby in the womb is murder. Now, killing the baby when it's coming out of the mother, right, is unacceptable, totally. I mean, anything is unacceptable. Killing the baby in any condition is unacceptable. But now they go even farther. You can kill it after it comes out. They'll keep it comfortable in the hospital, waiting for the mother to be convinced by the nurses and the doctors and who knows what, her boyfriend, to kill the baby, you see. But anyway, the governor of Virginia got his karma right away. He was accused of, in high school, of making fun of black people by dressing up in blackface with a Ku Klux Klan person in a Halloween costume, and he took a picture of it. This is when he was in high school or college, in college. And somebody who knew him in college, when he heard about this outrageous law that he wants to pass, he got so upset, he sent that picture to the newspapers. And now people are insisting that he resign. Not because of the abortion, but because of the blackface. See? You see how he got the karma right away, because it's outrageous. See? So this is modern education. How is modern education? This is like this. One day, a man in India died. So when he died, they called the coroner. The coroner is a person who issues a death certificate, right? The coroner signed the death certificate. He said, yes, this man is dead. So they put the man's dead body on a cot, you know, and had 4 people. And they hired the professional wailers, and they were going toward the crematorium, right? You see this, at least before you used to see it all the time. I don't know what it's going on now. But you would see them carrying the cot with the man on it. And you have these professional wailers, not just the family members. Do they, you know about this? No. They actually hire professional wailers. They cry, they roll on the ground, they pull their hair, right? The more you pull your hair, the more you mean, you know, people say, oh, they must love him very much. So anyway, on the way to the crematorium, the man stood up, or sat up in the cot, and said, what's going on here? Said there was a politician in that group. It was some relative or something. So he said, wait a minute. We have to take a vote to see if this man is alive or dead. But first we'll present evidence that he's actually dead. And the man is looking, and he's looking at him, what's going on here? He said, you keep quiet. So they called the coroner. The coroner comes, and he has the birth certificate. And he shows the politician the birth certificate. He said, huh, this is a legal document. Is this your signature? He asked the coroner. He said, yes, it's my signature. So that means he's dead. Now we'll take a vote. Do you believe the coroner, or you believe this nonsense? So they took, and he said, it'll be a secret ballot, so no one is intimidated. So they took a secret ballot, and more people voted that he's dead. So what did they do? They tied him up, put something in his mouth, and taped it so he couldn't talk. They tied him down to the cot. They took him to the crematorium and they killed him. Ah, very interesting. Now, this is a story, right? But no, it's reality. How did they pass Roe versus Wade in 1963 in the Congress of the United States? Roe versus Wade was the defining case in front of the Supreme Court of the United States that legalized abortion in the United States. How did they do that? They had the coroner and they had the politician, and they joined together. The coroner was a scientist, and the scientists were asked to determine if the fetus in the womb is a person, and if it's a person, then it's protected by the Constitution of the United States. You can't kill it. So the scientists wrote a whole long paper proving in their terms that the fetus is not a person, and therefore it's not protected by the Constitution of the United States. Then they came to the politician and say, here's the proof. Just like they brought the coroner with the proof that he signed the death certificate that this guy's dead, right? And then they passed the law based on scientific evidence that the fetus is not a person. And they passed this law, and ever since 1963, every year they kill 1.5 million American children in this country. So you count the years. 1963 to 2000 is 37 years. And today is 2019. You had another 19. So you're 37, 47, 56 years. 56 times 1.5 million is how much, right? So over 75 million. That's more than Stalin and Hitler killed combined. So who is worse, Stalin, Hitler, or the United States government? You decide. The United States government has killed more, and they haven't killed like, you know, Arab, Israeli, or Palestinians, or no, they killed Americans. In the Civil War, which was the worst war America ever had, they lost 500,000 American soldiers, right? That is the most America has ever lost. But because of Roe versus Wade and the scientists and the politicians, they've killed 75 million Americans in the last 57 years, you see. Okay, so here Prabhupada says, the Lord himself also warns that the deluding power of material energy is too powerful to overcome, but one who completely surrenders unto the Lord can easily do mercy and truthfulness. These four principles of advanced civilization were remarkable features in the age of Satya. In that age, every human being was practically a qualified Brahmana of the highest order, and in the social orders of life, they were all Paramahansas, or the topmost in the renounced order. By cultural standing, the human beings were not at all subjected to the deluding energy. Such strong men and women of character were competent enough to get away from the clutches of Maya. But gradually, as the basic principles of Brahminical culture, namely austerity, cleanliness, mercy, and truthfulness, became curtailed by proportionate development of pride, attachment for women and sense gratification and intoxication, the path of salvation, or the path of transcendental bliss, retreated far, far away from human society. With the progression of the age of Kali, people are becoming very proud and attached to sense gratification and intoxication. By the influence of the age of Kali, even a pauper, meaning a poor person, is proud of his penny. So this false pride is not only the rich people, it's even the poorest person is proud of his penny. You see, so it's not, oh, the rich are bad. Oh, everybody is bad now because of this false pride. And women are always dressed in an overly attractive fashion to victimize the minds of men. That doesn't mean women are bad. It just means that they're misled. Previously in India, all Hindu women covered their hair. In fact, Prabhupada explains in Bengal, any high-class woman would never show herself in public. If she had to go somewhere, she would hire 4 men and a palanquin. And she would come out of her house right into the palanquin, and the palanquin was covered on 4 sides by cloth, and she would be taken to wherever she wants to go. Is this true, Prabhu? Do you remember this in your life? Yeah, you come.
I don't see that.
Yeah, Prabhupada was explaining. This is high-class women would never show themselves in public. You see, it's not like the Muslims that they put on a full burqa, but the women would not go walking around in public. Nowadays in Calcutta, if you go there, you'll see high school girls smoking cigarettes, walking down the street, in mini skirts, with their hair all over the place. Today, that you've seen. Yeah. You see, this is what's going on in society today. Not only here, it's happening in India, the land of Dharma. So, it says, the women are dressed in an overly attractive fashion to victimize the minds of men, and the man is addicted to drinking wine, smoking, drinking tea and coffee, and chewing tobacco or pan. Well, every quarter you have panwala in India, all over India, right? And now you have liquor all over India. And you have biddy yoga, smoking biddies. That's their yoga now, biddy yoga, not siddhi yoga, but biddy yoga. See? And drinking this chai and coffee. Coffee is becoming more popular than chai. It used to be chai, now it's coffee. These things are very contaminating. People, oh no, if I don't have my tea. Like one time this very prominent Vaishnava came to stay with me in Paris. He was the leader of the Radha Raman temple. So he's one of, Gopal Bhatta's, lineage. Gopal Bhatta, of course, was the son of the leader of Ranganath, or Srirangam, right? But he became a devotee of Lord Chaitanya, and he came to Vrindavan, and he started the Radharaman temple. Radharaman deity is a self-manifested deity, and because Gopal Bhatta was such a pure devotee, he found the deity. And what kind of deity it is? It's only this big, but it is a solid piece of Shalagram Shila, perfectly in the form of the deity. Now, Shalagram Shila, if you just bang on it a little bit or try and carve it, it'll break right away. Well, you can't carve it from the outside. It's carved from the inside by a worm. And the worms carve 108 different forms inside of the Shalagram Shila. There are 108 different types of Shalagram Shilas depending on the design on the inside. Did you know that? You heard that, yeah. But this Shalagram Shila is one piece, and it's perfectly, I can't say it's carved, it's self-manifested. It's perfect. Have you've seen a deity? Yeah. It's perfectly formed in the form of Radha Raman, Krishna. As the face, as everything, right? The arms, the legs, everything. So anyway, Gopal Bhatta, he came to Vrindavan, and he founded the temple. And the leader of that temple at that time, their families, they're descended from Gopal Bhatta's son, yeah. And they take turns. For every 2 years, one family, a descendant family, will manage the temple and become president of the temple. So he came to my house, and he was a very nice man. And for 1 week, he gave lectures on Chaitanya Charitamrita. Very, very nice man. He was a personal friend of Srila Prabhupada, and he was previously the mayor of Vrindavan. He was a prominent person, right? Anyway, the first day he came, he told me, Prabhu, he said, please don't criticize me. I said, why would I criticize? No, he said, I have one bad habit. I said, okay, you don't have to tell me what it is. No, I want to tell you. He said, I drink tea. If I don't drink tea, I'm just not normal. He said, can I cook tea in your kitchen? I said, sure. This is your kitchen. You can cook tea. So, but besides that, every morning, he would get up very early and chant Hare Krishna, and he would do a complete worship of Lord Chaitanya. And he had a picture frame with a very, very beautiful picture of Lord Chaitanya, something I'd never seen before. And I was watching him the first morning. He said, come here, come a little closer, he said. So I came a little closer to him. He said, you see this frame? I said, yeah. He said, you see the picture of Lord Chaitanya? I said, yes. You see that little white thing in the corner? I said, yeah. He said, you know what that is? I said, no, I don't know. He said, that is a piece of the chadar Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave to Gopal Bhatta 500 years ago. He said, this is the most valuable thing that I have. My father gave it to me, my grandfather gave it to me, and I worshipped the Lord's chadar every day. So he was not an ordinary person. However, he did say, I have one bad habit. So this bad habit, where did it come from? This drinking tea in India. It was not a traditional thing. They didn't drink tea in Vedic times. It's the British curse on the Indians. You see. What were people drinking in Vedic times? Lassi. They were drinking milk, garam dud, or lassi. They didn't drink tea. The British introduced this in India, and it's their curse on the Indian people. Now, what does tea do? Tea has caffeine in it. And tea leaves an acid residue in the stomach, and it goes into the intestines, and it filters into the bloodstream, and it skews, or it destroys the natural alkalinity of the blood. And when the blood becomes slightly acidic, people get osteoporosis, diabetes, cardiac problems, heart attacks. Is there a diabetes epidemic in India? Who knows? What do you say, Prabhu? Yeah. Now you know where it comes from. It's the British curse. See, the British cursed the Indians by fomenting violence between the Muslims and the Hindus. But a bigger curse of the Hindus, they don't realize, is tea and coffee. Because of that, you have so many people in India, they're only 50, 60 years old. They get diabetes and they die. They get heart attacks. They have high blood pressure. So the two big things are BP and diabetes in India. Right? Is this right, Prabhu? Well, that's because of Starbucks. Okay, so let's finish this now. All these habits, or so-called advancement of civilization, are the root causes of irreligiosities, and therefore it is not possible to check corruption, bribery, and nepotism. So who knows what nepotism means? Sanskriti. Right. So what's an example of nepotism in India? Yes, the Gandhi family. Indira Gandhi making her son prime minister, or making her sister some big leader in the country. None of them are qualified. But that's called nepotism. You put your family in all these high positions. Right? So this is going on. There's three things. There's corruption, bribery, and nepotism. Due to drinking wine, smoking, drinking tea, chewing tobacco, and being falsely proud and being attached to sense gratification. See? So, false pride, you eat meat. How do you connect those two? Well, someone goes hunting and they get a big gun like this. You can buy it in Walmart. They have these big guns like that. And you go out and you get dressed in camouflage. You have some leaves on your helmet, and you have green and brown clothing on, you know. And you go out and you're hiding behind a tree, and a little rabbit comes out and goes like this, looking around, and you got the rabbit right in your magnifying glass, you know, and the rabbit feels there's something wrong, but it doesn't know because the person is camouflaged. And all of a sudden, bang! The rabbit hears it, but the bullet is so fast, it kills the rabbit immediately, right? Then he gets the rabbit and becomes proud. He takes a picture, right? And sends it to his relatives and friends. They put it on internet, right? And he has the rabbit like this, holding it up by its ears, right? And he's very proud. And then he takes it home and skins it and eats the rabbit. It could be a deer, you know. So you see, that causes pride. And the meat eaters become very proud that they're eating meat. If you say, don't eat meat, they say, what? What do you mean, don't eat meat? You know, you're insulting my family. Everybody in my family eats meat. One time a man was being preached to by a Christian preacher, and he said, and if you don't accept Jesus, you will go to hell. And the guy said, well, can you tell me something about hell? He said, yes. He said, well, my father, he was not a Christian. He's in hell. And my brother, he was not a Christian. He's also in hell. And my uncle, he was not a Christian. He's also in hell. I said, then what's so bad about hell? My whole family's there. You see, this is the problem with people. You know, misery likes company. You see. So he says here, man cannot check all these evils simply by statutory acts. Okay, who knows what statutory acts are? Sanskriti. Sanskriti comes to class, so she has all the answers. You know. Yeah, it's a law. It's a statutory act. Statutory means it's been entered into the logbook as a law. Man cannot check all these evils simply by statutory acts and police vigilance. What does it mean, police vigilance? What's vigilance mean? Sanskrit. They're watching. You smile. You're on the camera now. But he can cure the disease of the mind by the proper medicine, namely advocating the principles of Brahminical culture or the principles of austerity, cleanliness, mercy, and truthfulness. Modern civilization and economic development are creating a new situation of poverty and scarcity with the result of blackmailing the consumer's quantities. This is a big subject. I'm not going to go into it now. But you can see the more Seattle becomes rich, more homeless people you see. The higher the prices of houses become. And now you have a metropolitan market down the street. Everything is overpriced there, right? But people are willing to pay it because they have more money. But normal people, they walk in and they see all the prices. Wait a minute, I can't afford this. But because Sammamish is a high-income area, they can open a store like that and sell everything more expensive. Yeah. Prabhupada says, blackmailing the consumer's commodities. In other words, falsely raising the prices of all these commodities. If the leaders, now this is the most important point, now listen carefully. If the leaders and the rich men of the society spend 50% of their accumulated wealth mercifully for the misled mass of people and educate them in God consciousness, the knowledge of Bhagavatam, certainly the age of Kali will be defeated in its attempt to entrap the conditioned souls. Here's the solution to the problem. Let's say Jeff Bezos has $37 billion. And he gives half of it, not to his ex-wife, but to spread Krishna consciousness in the world. Will he become a poor man? No, he's still got almost $20 billion. You could not even spend $1 billion in your lifetime. Could you spend that much money, Prabhu? $1 billion is $1,000 million. Could you spend that much money in your lifetime? And he's going to have, $18 billion left after he pays off his ex-wife so he can get a new girlfriend, right? So, is he going to be a poor man? Let's say you had $4 billion and you gave $2 billion to spread Krishna consciousness. Would you be a poor man? Let's say you had $1 billion and you gave half of it to spread Krishna consciousness. Would you be a poor man? No. Let's say you have $1 million and you give half of it. Would you be a poor man? And Maya's attractiveness in this way. Actually, Maya is not attractive. When she demonstrated herself to Kamsa, Kamsa was afraid. She's got 10 arms. She's got weapons in each arm. She's got a red tongue. Well, but he saw Kali. He saw Durga, but in her hairdo and civilization and economic development are creating a new situation of poverty and scarcity with the result of blackmailing the consumer's commodities. If the leaders and the rich men of the society spend 50% of their accumulated wealth mercifully for the misled mass of people and educate them in God consciousness, the knowledge of Bhagavatam, certainly the age of Kali will be defeated in its attempt to entrap the conditioned souls. We must always remember that false pride or too high an estimation of one's own values of life, undue attachment to sense gratification and to exploiting women, and intoxication will divert human civilization from the path of peace, however much the people clamor for peace in the world. The preaching of the Bhagavatam principles will automatically render all men austere, clean both inside and outside, merciful to the suffering, and truthful in daily behavior. That is the way of correcting the flaws of human society, which are very prominently exhibited at the present moment. Srila Prabhupada, Patita Pavan Ki Jai. Who else can write like this? You know anybody else that can write like this? There isn't anybody. Huh? Yes. This purport, he's giving a solution to the problems of Kali Yuga. Who else has a solution to the problems of Kali Yuga? They can't even analyze what the problems are. Right? And who can give the solution? Here Prabhupada is giving a solution. And is it going to hurt anyone if all the rich people of the world give half their money to spread Krishna consciousness? No. It's going to make life better for the rich people. What are the rich people are afraid of now? They're afraid that society is going to go out of control and they're going to come and kill them and take their money. Therefore, if they voluntarily give half of their money, they're not saying give everything, give half of your money to spread Krishna consciousness, then the people will leave you alone. They'll make spiritual advancement and they'll become good people again, as there were in Satya Yuga. You could bring Satya Yuga back today. Anyway, this is a big subject. We'll talk about it some more. Are there any questions? You don't have any questions? Somebody must have a question. That's, the rule here is no question, no eat. Yes, bro. Okay. That's half eating right there. Okay, go ahead. Yeah.
Prabhupada said 50%. Even they give 25%, still have lot.
No, but the job is big. We're talking about stopping Kali Yuga. 25% is like Neem Hakim Khatrejan. Half doctor means no doctor. So half means you only get half the job done. We're talking about stopping Kali Yuga. We're not saying, stop meat eating in India. We're talking about stopping Kali Yuga altogether. So it requires a lot of support. But yes, something is better than nothing, right? Yes. Any other questions or comment? Another comment that's equal to one question. Yes.
The only quality that it remains is the truthfulness in Kali Yuga.
Yes, and that's being beaten.
Yeah, so any kind of truthfulness in the
Well, there's some, like for example, if you ask a drunk, you have any advice for me? So, yeah, man, don't drink, it's bad for you. Well, so even the drunkard can speak the truth. But you wouldn't believe him because he's drunk, right? But yeah, there's a little bit of truth. But you have to take them to court and they have to get convicted. And then they say, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to do it. Before that, they were trying to get away with it. But because justice caught them, they start crying. So I did it for my family. I didn't mean to do it. I didn't mean to kill the whole family of these other people. So there's a little bit of truth. Yeah. Okay, Hare Krishna. Glories to Srila Prabhupada ki jai. That's a new rule. Like two comments equals one question. So I think we're going to have Arti.